Hey guys, it's Tar. Peace and love. So what's going on? Some weird shit is going on the planet. And I don't just mean the wars, which are terrible, and my prayers go to any family that is in the site of any type of bombing, because it's terrible for any child to have to go through. So really my prayers do go to those folks, and I hope there's an end soon to the wars that are going on in the Middle East. Now I'm talking about other things that are going on. Now we all know that there's been a lot of UAP and UFO sightings, and I know that the regular news does not talk about it, but you can find it really anywhere. There's News Nation is one of the ones that will talk about it if you watch News Nation at all, and you may hear things here and there, but on different stations they may play you like a little excerpt of a story, but there really is a lot of things going on. Recently, very recently, in this month of March, in Portage County, Ohio, there have been, I believe, 6 to 8 sightings within like 5 days. So I don't know if it was 6 or 8 or 6 to 8, but there was at least that many sightings within 5 days in Portage County, Ohio. Now, Ohio has a lot of Bigfoot sightings, but really pretty much every state does. But to have that many sightings in just 5 days, it's crazy. Now, I haven't dug deep into that, and as a Bigfoot researcher and a person that has talked to people and heard their stories and listened to stories, many stories, many hundreds of stories, 99% of people, I feel like, are telling the truth. Because there's a huge stigma with either Bigfoot or paranormal things. People right away want to kind of laugh at you and say, okay, yeah. I know anytime I mention Bigfoot, and I haven't seen a Bigfoot personally. I've had some paranormal experiences, but that can be a little bit different. But I've never actually seen a Bigfoot. And I know that just me saying that I researched Bigfoot, I get eye rolls. So can you imagine if I actually saw one and told somebody? I get eye rolls. So I understand how those folks feel. And nobody's going to tell you an outrageous story like that for attention, because it's not positive attention. So if it ends up being negative attention, I mean, whatever the case may be. But I really don't think most people want negative attention. So anybody that's telling a story, you can usually tell when people are telling a story. There's a wonderful podcast, and it's called Sasquatch Chronicles, run by a gentleman named Wes. I believe he's out in the Washington area, if I'm not mistaken. But people will call in, and they will tell their story, their sighting, their event that happened with a Bigfoot. And you can tell people are not making this up. And if you're really good at listening to people and understanding and getting a feeling of what they're saying to you, you'll know that they're telling you the truth. Do people lie and make up stories? Yeah, of course. But generally, when it comes to something that's considered strange or on the edge or, on the verge of reality, people don't want to hear that. People will laugh at that. So people are not going to come forward knowing that they're going to get laughed at. They just aren't going to do that. So I really tend to believe that 90% of these folks are telling the truth. And I know that there is video out there if you look for it. Yes, AI has screwed everything up and you don't know what the hell you're looking at anymore. But there is video prior to AI, okay? That's not CGI. It's actual video from people's cameras where they've caught, a lot of trail cam, caught actual beings on these cameras. So if you really research it, you can find it, and you can see for yourself that you're looking at something that's not human. So what do I say? Why is it happening? Honestly, I think it's happening because the human beings that we are, the spirit that we are, it's time for us to really get better at being human, because obviously with wars and all the things going on in the world, we're at a point as humans where we kind of suck. We don't protect our children from pedophiles. We protect pedophiles. We protect the act of pedophilia. We laugh at it. And we don't do anything to keep our kids safe. We really don't keep our animals safe. We're not good at keeping other beings safe. Yes, are there a lot of good people in the world? There really are. But at that same token, good people can also cover up for things or be an enabler without realizing it because they love somebody or they just don't want to be bothered or embarrassed. So we don't really call out others on their behaviors. Nobody's saying you got to be mean and argue with people, but my loved ones, I have no problem saying, hey, do you think that's the right thing to do? And you know as a human when something's right or not, and if it's the right thing to do. And I think as humans, we just have not gotten to the point spiritually where we really understand that we're connected to a higher power and that we're all connected to each other. And treating each other with love and respect is really, really vital to our survival. And I think we're at a point right now where that's being tested. The way we act as humans is being tested. Because I have never in my life heard of so many Bigfoot sightings of recent. I've always heard of them. I know the stories, but there's a lot more coming out now. I don't know if it's because people are talking more and less afraid, but there's a lot more going. And not just Bigfoot sightings. There's sightings of other beings that, if you look up the 411 call of the gentleman driving in the truck, I believe, on a road in North Carolina, which is known to be paranormal to some degree, something jumps in the back of his truck, and you can hear that call. It's an actual sheriff's call. Is it made up? No, it comes right from the sheriff's office, okay? So take a listen to that if you feel like looking into that. But there's things going on, man. If you look at the stories of Skinwalker Ranch, okay, scientists have spent decades there, okay, and something's there. They can't explain what the heck it is, but there have been stories repeatedly of scientists who will go there with, let's say, a family member, a wife, or somebody else they're bringing with them, and they'll come home and paranormal events follow them. They have paranormal things going on in their home. They're seeing shadow figures. They're seeing spirits of some type in their home. Is there a connection? There have been people who have been abducted. And in abductions, people say after they've been abducted or had some kind of contact with what we call an alien, I don't really know if that's the correct term, but they'll have paranormal things happening in their home. And a good example is the young men in, was it Las Vegas, Nevada, when that beam of light was caught on cameras flying over homes, and that was caught on camera. That is real. And something landed in this family's backyard. This family said after that happened, after they saw these 8-foot beings, and you can look this up, just go and look up Las Vegas family landing UFO in their yard. They seen 8-foot tall beings. And then the young man, the young kid, he was only a 17-year-old kid, and no 17-year-old kid wants to tell a story like that because he knows he's going to get unwanted attention. And at that age, you don't want that kind of attention. But he did talk to somebody, I think maybe a year later, and he explained that, not only were humans being difficult and going past their house, but they said they started to see paranormal things going on in their home. Now, I'm not going to get into all the religious aspects of things. I know some people will say things, demons, or, and that's fine. That's your opinion. You believe as you believe. I don't believe that's what they are. I think there's a lot more to it than that. If that were the case, then I think we'd all be in some really major trouble if that was the case. I think the planet and the spirit that surrounds it that we're all connected to is love. Because if it wasn't love, because love creates and things come out of love, and that keeps us surviving, that keeps us thriving. And if it was negative things happening, then we wouldn't survive. We wouldn't be able to survive if there was negative things taking us out or taking us down or killing us or whatever, the situation might be. Now, I don't claim to know everything. I'm just saying, do you notice what's going on? A lot of things are going on. What does that mean for me? I think it's important for me to be the best version of myself that I can be, to love others that maybe I wouldn't normally love, and to be better to people. Something's happening. Things are changing. And there's also been known to be some UAPs over some nuclear sites throughout the world. Now, I know that's happened before. It's happening right now as we speak. That can't be explained. Regular news isn't going to tell us about that. I don't know. What do you guys think? You got a paranormal story you want to share? Absolutely would love to hear it. I got my TikTok page, and I do all of my Bigfoot stories and paranormal stories on my TikTok page. But I really would love to hear somebody come on here and tell me your story, be it Bigfoot or something else. Really love to hear it. In the meantime, guys, it's so important to take care of yourself and wake up. being the best version of yourself. Wake up every morning and that's your plan, just to be the best person you can be, because you're awesome and you're loved.